listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 249 of the Shite Talk podcast show.
Yeah.
Or else you just look back at the last episode and add one. I think that's what we should do from now on. We should be like, just look back at the last episode and we forget the whole numbering thing, and we just call a podcast all of them the same thing, because it's a lot of hassle coming up with new titles every time and numbers.
Yeah, numbers are hard.
Numbers are hard. One after the other. You think it's easy. You can just look back, but then you can turn on record and it's just like you've forgotten where you live. Never that happened to you? Like, is there something that you know really well? You know it off by heart, and then someone asks you, like, on the spot, and you're about 6, or like, like, what age are you? You're like, you have to think about it, and you're like, okay, you're definitely lying. You're taking way too long. You're like, oh no, I'm not lying. I'm just sick.
I can't say that's ever happened, man.
Oh, really? It has to be all the time. Like, we were on our way to a place. We were talking about the contract, and then I get seriously and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, in here. What's your purpose? Never mind.
I'm going somewhere.
You know me. You've seen my face before. I can't keep track of what I'm meant to be doing. You are meant to. That's your job.
Don't make me do your job.
Yeah, don't make me do your job. Also, like in the airport, or if you get pulled by a guard and you're like, where'd you live? Like, here's a piece of paper. If lost, please call.
Where do you live? My house?
My house? The rest is tattooed on my arm. There.
If lost, please return to.
Yeah, this address. That would be handy. Or barcode, so you could scan, or QR code. That's what I need. Scan my QR code, officer.
All your information.
All my relevant information is there. All trustworthy, I'm sure. No, what happened to me the other day?
What?
I got locked into a race course.
How did you do that?
See, like, for anyone who listens to this podcast pretty much, who doesn't actually know me, that seems like the most random thing possible to get locked into a fucking race course. But anyone who knows me goes, yeah, I'm not surprised. You fucking, what are you expecting? Like, you dumbass. Surprised you haven't got locked in before. Well, where I live, there's a race course where you can drive into and you can go for a walk or a run, or you can do activities there. I also get vaccinated. It's multi-purpose. We don't just have one thing. It's like the strip clubs in America. And I should have been like, there was only 2 cars in the car park when I went there. So I was like, sometimes you can be, if there isn't that many cars and there's loads parked outside, you know, not to park inside. But I was like, let's just take the easy option and park inside. There's 2 cars here. We've strengthened numbers. And I went for a walk and the 2 cars were gone and the gate was closed. And so I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, I've been in this situation many times in my life. I can get out of this. I go over to the keypad and see if there's like a buzzer somewhere. There was no buzzer. There's just a keypad. You have to know the code, or else you're not getting out. There's a load of cameras as well. And then I was like, okay, usually in this situation, there's a number you can ring. There's a sign. There's a security company who will alert somebody who will let me out here. No, there wasn't. There's no number you can call. If you get locked in this race course, you're staying there until somebody opens the gate, and there's nothing you can do. If you Google the number of the race course to let you out, it'll come up. You're out of hours. So I did what I did any time, like I'm in danger. I rang my parents. It was like, here, I'm stuck in this race course. And it's not like usually they're quite level-headed. Oh fuck! So it was like, my dad started calling my mom in. My mom was ignoring him. He's like, "It's an emergency. It's an emergency." And I was like, "It's not an emergency." And she's like, she's like, "No, don't have any numbers out there for that." I was like, "All right, this is not good." But there's few cars, so it kind of felt like secure numbers. Where I was like, "Okay, there's now 3 of us trapped in this race course." There's a man who walks his dog, but he walks it while driving his car around. So he drives
I hate those people.
Yeah, it's the most lazy thing. He just beeps his horn for the dog to like come towards him. And they're like, but the dog would come over to every dog possible, and like some dogs are like little narky bastards who probably want to fight the dog, and your man's just driving around beeping the horn, and the dog's not listening to the horn. He's not trained at all. So I seen it wasn't him, but I seen another person driving around the race course in their car, which is like, for people who live outside of country, they're like, this place is insane. He's in a race course. People walk their dog in this race course and drive their car around. Yeah, welcome to Ireland. But anyone who lives around Nace probably knows. Yeah, it's normal. We do it every day. It just seems normal. To other people, it's odd. To us, it's like, yeah, obviously. What else would you do in a race course? So I rang my sister, who knows a person at the race course. Who she said, and I was just like, when I was talking to her, she's like, I would have been able to help you, but the gate started open. I think the security guard seen the traffic build up and was like, I better open this. There's like 4 cameras. That's the other thing. I was there like 15 minutes waiting for this thing to open, and I was like, my dad was like, oh, they probably just wanted to let you stew in it, so like you don't do this again. I love all the people who are going into who parked outside were all a little smirk like, you dumb bastards parking inside. they're not delighted with themselves. You know, when people walking by and they're trying to hold in a smile. Little cunts. Delighted with themselves. Look at those idiots who parked inside.
I'd imagine that's probably what took so long to get you out. Your man was just laughing at the monitor.
Yeah, it's just like, they're picking up phones, they're ringing people. They can't get through. There's no numbers.
I don't know who he's fucking ringing.
Ring who you want. This gate ain't open until I press this button. But yeah, it was one of the hardest places I've got locked into, and I've got locked into a few places to get back out of. But it's strange how difficult it was. Like, I've got locked into like multi-story car parks. I've got locked into like car parks with barriers all over it. I was like thinking about driving all over the grass, but there was a wall with a bit of a drop. I was like,
how do you get locked into places so much?
I don't know. It just happens. It just happens. It's one of these things of being me. You get locked into places.
Like,
isn't it normal? Have you not been locked into anywhere?
Not that I can think of. No.
You remember there was a story people used to tell about people get locked into a mall or something, or you'd say, "What would you do if you got locked into a mall?" There's something. There's either a story or something to do about being locked into a place. I don't know if it was one of these tales that people used to tell you, like, to scare you.
It probably is.
But like, maybe it was, but it just didn't work. And I keep getting locked into places.
Yeah, Mark was just like, it seems like fun.
Yeah, I just can't get out. Yeah, like most places, because like once you drive around, once you're caught in a camera, there's a car somewhere where it's not meant to be. There is a security of some sort, or you ring a number and they come and let you out eventually. This had nothing like that. I was like, oh, I might have to leave my car here and walk home.
At least nobody would be able to rob your car.
Yeah, exactly. You think that would be a positive of it until the morning time.
Yeah. I'm assuming that in the morning you'd have to go and get your car.
Yeah. Leave it there. Yeah, so that was my eventful thing of the day. Yeah. We've some eventful stories as well. Like going on to that. We've only 3 eventful stories, and
4 after that one.
4 after that one. Yeah. If I think of any more things that happened to me over last week, I'll bring them throughout the show, like just like I did there. Mark deals with life.
One more thing.
One more thing. After I got locked into the race course, do you know what? I don't know what the ladies would think of this story now, Ken.
Uh-oh.
Because up the north, right?
Yeah.
There's a pub that's not selling any half pints. Men and women drink half pints. Ladies now, they won't be impressed with these glasses.
I would have thought that was that big of a deal.
Yeah, I thought it would have caused eruptions, but he said like he's had it up a week and no one's really battered an eyelid at it. But like, yeah, anytime I go out, my sisters or my mum would always drink glasses of Guinness. Very rarely would you see them with a pint, and it isn't because like they just say like they drink it a little bit slower. So if they drink it 3/4 of the glass and it goes bad, then you can just get another glass. So you're not wasting money. Whereas by the time they would get you a pint, like half of it might be like gone bad and you have to throw away, because if after 10 minutes you kind of need to go out and get a new pint of Guinness. Like you can't drink it slow. So yeah.
I don't know anymore. I remember like it used to be as well that like 2 glasses of Guinness was more expensive than a pint.
Yeah, I think it's slightly more expensive. Yeah, because that's one of the things the man was like. He said it's a bit tongue in cheek, but he said like you are wasting your time getting a glass because it's more expensive for the equivalent thing. I think that is still the case.
But like, surely he'd prefer people then to have 2 glasses rather than a pint.
I think for the amount of preparation Guinness takes, I think it's just kind of like, here, just get a pint there. I'm going to have to be dealing with you now in a few minutes' time. You're going to drink that in like 2 or 3 minutes, be back up here looking for another glass.
But like, if it was like you said, like if it's because you're drinking it, like you're a slower drinker, like then it's not really going to be wasting anybody's time. It's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to probably take a similar amount of time. By the time a person drinks a pint, the other person would probably have the glass like finish, or might be okay to wait a few minutes before jump back into another glass. Because
like your old pint of Guinness there goes fierce fucking manky after a little while.
Yeah, like first when I always drink really, really fast. You know, oh Jesus, that was a great pint. And then by the third or fourth, when you start slowing down, you're kind of like you're almost sick of the taste at that stage, and that's when the pints start going into the 10 minutes between your pints.
Yeah, and you start going, these are not tasting as tasty as they were.
I better jump onto the old whiskey.
Yeah, I better get the fuck away from the Guinness.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that and the reasons behind it and the kind of bit of the story around it as well. Then there's a rarity on the show because we have a legend of the week. This is a very rare title, give to very benign, odd things every now and then. Like a guy caught a ball and didn't spill it was a legend of the week. And you think like every week or every second week or at least once a month we come up with a story that could match a man catching a ball and not spilling a beer. However, it doesn't happen, and it's a very rare title that we give to it. So there's this prestige, but the bar for a legend of the week is quite low, even though it's such a high prestige. It's a weird title. It's called Legend of the Week. And Ken might have a Legend of the Week, and yeah, I won't say what it was because I could think if I give it like it would ruin the story. So we have a Legend of the Week, and we'll leave it on that.
Yeah, a legendary legend.
And then we have a new segment. It could only be a one and done kind of thing. Probably will be. Most of our segments are one and done. But we have a fake news story, which is a story I think is fake news. And if anybody is a long-term listener to these shows, like you might have noticed that Ken's a bit of a pessimistic. He likes to see the negative in it and everything. I am the complete opposite. I am an optimistic. I believe everything. I'm very gullible and probably one day will join a cult.
You did before.
Yeah, I did before. I'll do it again, more than likely. But like, so when I call bullshit on something, Ken's like, when I said this to Ken, you were like, oh, this is probably actually fact. And everyone, you were like, no, I'm not believing for this. You're gullible. So I think I found some fake news. But if it is true, it's a weird story. And it involves a man, right? And his excuse why he won't date anyone called Kirsty.
Okay.
So I'm calling fake news on it. Calling bullshit. I don't really believe it. Apparently it is a condition. And he won't be able to date anyone called Kirsty. Is there any really famous good-looking Kirsties out there? Like, girl Kirsties? Because you all know Kirsty Moore's a hunk. No denying that.
I don't know.
Ken just takes out his big book of famous dateable names there. That's what it's at. Led to.
Like Google it. So like, what's in it? Spell it.
Kirsty, I think. Yeah. Kirsty. I mean, I'm trying to get like, I get like similar names in my head when I think of celebrities like Kirsten Dunst. Kirsty. Like thirsty, but with a K.
Right, so let's see. Celeb's name Kirsty.
It's an odd name.
Yeah. Kirsty Gallagher, remember her?
No. What was she famous for?
She used to have that show on Sky.
No. Kirsty.
Oh, it was like,
Kirsty Home Videos. Or
yeah.
All right, yeah.
I don't know who the fuck any of the rest of these people are.
Fire out some names there. We'll see if maybe our listeners might know. They won't be able to ever contact us, but like
this is just a list of most famous people named Kirsty.
All right, give us like 5.
All right, Kirsty McCall, you know her.
Yeah, Kirsty McCall.
Kirsty Coventry.
Okay, sounds posh.
Kirsty Duncan.
That rings a bell. I don't know what for.
Kirsty Williams.
No idea.
Kirsty Hawkshaw.
No idea.
Yeah, like I don't know who any of the rest of these people are.
They're all Z-list celebrities. So like, at least like you're not missing out on I don't know, insert famous good-looking woman's name, Margaret Robbie. But then again, like how many other good-looking Margarets are there out there? Like, I'm pretty sure it's one hand you can count it. I think she's the exception that breaks the rule. But yeah, so like we'll be talking about that and why he has a thing against Kirsties. Yeah, so we'll start. I guess we'll start off with the Irish pub stories bit. Well, it's a pub in Belfast called Bittles Bar.
What a name!
Yeah, and they had put up a sign saying that they are no longer serving half pints due to Brexit and the Northern Ireland Protocol. We're no longer able to serve half pints. Was the reasons behind that, and them being too busy. So basically, because of Brexit, the Northern Ireland Protocol, there will be no longer half pints sold in this bar. And do you know what apparently their Patreons has took it pretty well because there's not really been a whole lot of uproar over it. Which I'd imagine if this sign was put up in a bar, Guinnesses, and it went viral, Guinnesses would have rang them by now and been like, take that sign down, serve half pints, or it will be down.
I don't understand how Brexit has nothing to do with it.
Well, yeah, like you would imagine maybe just that the import tax. Well, yeah, Northern Ireland and Portugal would actually benefit them because they wouldn't have any like tariffs or anything like that. Be honest with you, I think your man put up as a bit of tongue in cheek. Like, I think it's a bit of a pain in the hole for them to serve half pints, and they prefer people not to serve half pints. I don't know why. Like, it kind of takes half the size of a pint. It almost takes the same amount of time to pour it because you have to let it set and then top it up. So, like, let's say you had like three pints and 2 glasses, but then someone wants a beer, you could just get through the beers a lot quicker because they're kind of like pour and go. Whereas again, it's this whole thing where you have to let it set and then top it up. So he's like, I think for the amount of money that they probably get off the glasses, even though it's more in the long run, and then people just sip the glasses, so they're like probably just getting the same amount of glasses drank as the person drinking pints, but it's obviously less money. They're like, it's kind of a pain in the hole.
But like generally, like I don't know, anytime I go to like a pub or whatever, if the lads are pouring pints of Guinness and stuff, they generally go on while they're waiting for it to settle and serve other people.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd see.
So I don't see where there's any time wasted.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be kind of like, you know how airlines, they just don't like Diet Cokes or Coke Zeros because it takes longer to pour in the air.
Does it?
Yeah. Whatever. I think there's more gas in it or something like that, but it pours slower. So I think to the point where they stopped serving Diet Coke on airlines because of the length of time it takes to pour. And you think that's mad. But it's like, sure, it doesn't take that long, but apparently it does. I think it would be just easier to hand the person the can, but I guess then it's a metal object, you can possibly fashion it into some kind of weapon, and they have to pour into like a plastic cup.
Anytime I've gotten a soft drink on a flight, they've just given me a little can.
Yeah, see, that's what I think. I think you can trust us. We can have cans. If the person next to you is fashioning it into a weapon, please alert the woman walking up and down the aisles. Or the odd time that it might be a man. Equality again.
Oh, because you're known for equality, Mark.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the most equal people.
You can't even say it with a straight face
on this show. But yeah, I think he actually, they did it as a piss take. Like they were, I'm pretty sure if someone came in there and demanded a half glass of Guinness or Guinness Magnum, they're like, we're just having a bit of fun. Because they even spelled Guinness wrong in the sign that they put up in the bar. They spelled it Gunness, and he said your man who wrote the sign was dyslexic, so he actually misspelled Guinness's. So we did, like, no one has noticed the sign, no one's read the sign. It's like a closing time in a race course. You just don't notice it. You just go in and you just do what you're meant to do, and then hopefully get out. But yeah, it's yeah. He said like no one is really but I thought that like maybe it's up to north. Maybe they're just not as big Guinness drinkers up there as they are down here. It's kind of colloquial enough drink around Ireland. There's a lot of places where it's Guinness or nothing, and other places they have their own little home brews, like up in Cork or places like that.
Yeah.
No, it's a weird one. There's a drink. There's like a pale ale. It's a cream ale called Kilkenny.
Yeah.
And you can't get it in Kilkenny. Like
Yeah.
it's not sold, and it's pretty much not sold anywhere in Ireland. They export it to like the US or Spain and other places that drink ales, but it's like you couldn't get anywhere in Kilkenny. There is a serious Guinness drinking place. There's like get that mug away from us.
There's like the odd place that sells Kilkenny.
Yeah, apparently it's meant to be nice. I haven't had it, but yeah.
Yeah.
You can go into your place around when you're on holidays and try an Irish drink that isn't very rarely sold in actually Ireland. It's like all our musical talents. They get famous abroad and then they come back and we're like, yeah, we love these guys. We're so on board with this. Can't believe we just discovered them. When they hear it, you're useless.
Unless it's you two. You two can fuck off.
Well, I think Jason Byrne was a comedian that like was pretty popular, or Ed Byrne, one of the Byrnes, in the UK, but would get like awful abuse when he came home.
Yeah, I don't like Jason Byrne.
Or Ed Byrne.
Ed Byrne's even worse.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be the biggest fan of their, but like they're really popular. They often talk about it as well, about how they just get abused when they come home, but like they're able to make it in the UK, which is seen as like a harder scene to make it.
Ed Byrne always just like, I never find him funny.
Yeah, but then there's other ones like Andrew Maxwell, who was really popular over here and went to
Andrew Maxwell. There's a funny story of Andrew Maxwell, right?
All right.
Remember Neil Delamere, one Christmas, Neil Delamere released a DVD, like a live DVD, and then the next year Andrew Maxwell released a live DVD, and it was the same fucking show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he get in trouble for it?
No.
Yeah, well, I think I've often heard like comedians talk about this, is like the jokes or the humor can be so similar. You'd be like, oh, such and such is talking about this, so I can't do that because it's going to look like I'm either copying his stuff, or it's kind of like when the American guy start talking about the immersions. They're like, well, that's that gone. Or is there someone else talking about something? They're like, can't talk about that now. That's gone.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between talking about like subjects and like word for word, like saying the same thing.
Oh, really? It was word for word?
Yeah, like just certain segments of it, you were like Neil Delamere did that.
That's been done. Oh, I wonder if that's a big thing in Ireland. You often hear US comedians talking about people robbing bits.
Yeah, like you can rob a bit and change it.
I don't know
like,
if you can. I used to
get
get ahead of it.
It's not really like you're not really robbing a bit. Then if you change it, you're kind of like just taking an idea.
It takes an idea and expand it. Yeah, it depends how much. Like if you keep doing it, like if it's just a bit and then it goes on to somewhere else. But if it goes down the same kind of
like this was at the time when the two of them were on the panel. Like so, they were both like fairly like well known, and they were both like going around together, and they're doing the same fucking bits.
But like, surely your man who came up with it first would have been like, "Here, fuck off. That's my bit."
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Was there ever any controversy, or did he ever kind of come out and be like,
I don't think so.
All right. It's very. I hope this story is true now.
It is, no, 100% is. I actually have the DVDs here somewhere.
All right, cool. So Ken will send the DVDs to you to prove that this is a fact.
Yeah, like it's not like the whole show, but it's like a good portion of it. It's like he done that.
Yeah, a lot of comedians don't get away with like doing the same, but you know how bands, they have like classic songs that they play every night. Like if they didn't play like a song, people are like, oh my god, why didn't they play like Enter classic song from classic band? And but like if a comedian uses the same joke in two shows, you'd be like, what the fuck is he using the same material for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that joke before. Give us something new or fuck off. The only person I can think of is Bert Kreischer. He's like a U.S. comedian. He's just the machine bit at the end of his shows. And his thing where he just goes, all right, I'm going to tell the machine story of where he's like ends up robbing a train in Russia. With a lot of Russian gangsters.
As you do.
As you do, yeah. So we'll get into our fake news.
Go with your fake news.
All right, so this is a story which I'm very skeptical of. And if people, like I said at the start, listen to this podcast, they'll realize I'm quite easily led. And it came up, a man with a rare condition explains why he'll never date a Kirsty. He has this very rare condition that he was diagnosed in 2009. His name is Henry Gray. He's 23. The name is unpronounceable by man. So the condition basically blurs his senses, meaning that he can often smell and taste while hearing. So he attaches certain sounds to a very distinct smell or taste in his mouth. So he thought for years this was a normal thing, and everybody's like this, and he realized no, it's actually you've something wrong with you. So according to Henry, the name Kirsty smells like piss. You can never ever be around a person called Kirsty because hearing the name would make him smell this piss, which would probably make him gag. So constantly he's looking at a person. He knows she's called Kirsty, so every time he makes eye contact with her or sees her, he'll get this like sensation of piss.
That's a bit fucked up.
He's a barman, right, in Newcastle, and he says that's not even the worst name. He said he's always associated names with smells and feelings. Kate is like a knife cutting cloth. So he's just like that sensation of a knife, and obviously he mustn't like that sensation, so he's probably real Kate's out as well.
That's a bit fucked up, that is.
Yeah, he goes, it's the only ones that's like that super specific as well. So like for some reason Kate is just like no other, everything's kind of like a vague smell. It's a knife cutting a claw. And it's, yeah. So this is what I mean. This is why I'm starting to go, I don't know if this is a condition. I don't know if this made up condition that I've never heard of is actually real. Seems quite odd. It seems like you might have a tumour. Wow.
I've looked it up. Is it called lexical gustatory synesthesia?
Yeah.
It is a real thing. Apparently 2 to 4% of the world's population suffer from some form of it, but 0.2% have lexical gustatory synesthesia.
Which is probably the one he has.
Yeah, it's the one that he has.
Like, I wonder how they discover that, this is actually something wrong with it rather than just a man being weird. Yeah, so he says Cameron Diaz is like a sparkling disco ball, slowly rotating, while Jennifer Lawrence is like sniffing the inside of a shoe. Now, that could be a really nice smell, because if anybody went to like a shoe shop and smelled shoes, it's quite a nice smell. However, if I stuck my nose anywhere near the shoes that I was wearing the other day, I'm not going to be like it so much. So like, I could go either way for Jennifer Lawrence there. So I don't know, is that like he just like maybe he knows Kirsty and has associated negative connotations with that Kirsty person, so it smells like piss to him. Whereas he fancies Jennifer Lawrence and Cameron Diaz, so they're nice smelling or a slowly glistering ball, which he might find some way appealing.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, even it says here, like, even it's weird. Like, The condition is experienced as a complex mixture of temperature and texture. So, like, an example that's given here is that the word jail might taste like cold, hard bacon.
See, years ago, I ran into a person who said he had this weird condition. He said he couldn't feel pain. So then I punched him full force in the face, broke a pint glass that my friend was holding beside me, because I did it in a pub. And I was pretty sure he felt that. I think I could have almost broke his jaw. He was like holding his jaw. He was kind of making sure. He goes, he let me. I go, and my friend kind of put me up to it. He goes, oh, so this guy actually does MMA. So can he hit you in the face full force then? And you wouldn't feel it. And he's just like, oh, yeah, you have to let him hit you full force. And I was like, okay. I had a bit of drink on me at the time. I'm hitting. And yeah, it really hurt his jaw. I didn't hold back either. I was like, okay. Your man looked like, what's that director of like Kill Bill? Greatest director of all time.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes. Yeah, he looks like Quentin Tarantino as well. Yeah, so
looks like Quentin Tarantino.
so punch him in the face. So you say it can be like heat sensation. So like having this like specifically around names is odd. You think?
No, it says like when I looked it up there, it said like it can be any words. Like it's not just names. Like it's any word.
Yeah. So when he was in college, he had to move halls because his flat, the names around the flat were just like were too much for him. So it was like Duncan and Kirsty and Elijah. He just had to change accommodation because it was all these like weird smells. Like Duncan smelled like a bird dipped in smoky bacon crisps. Which, you know, other than the bird part, smoky bacon is actually quite nice. Kirsty is urine smelling, like we know, and Elijah is like an eyeball. Yeah, I don't know. Like he just gets a feeling like he's touching an eyeball. I don't know. Seems weird. He says because of their names and their like sensations and smells attached to him, he couldn't form friendships. So he like in terms of people he can be friends with, even not even being in a relationship with, is a very small number of things that like he has to find Jennifer Lawrence in order to like fall madly in love with, because he loves to smell shoes, maybe, or he just likes the idea of a glittering disco ball spinning slowly. So like a Cameron Diaz, my float his boat.
It's very fucking weird.
Yeah, I wonder if he's listening to a podcast and like I don't know, insert podcasters' names come up and he's like, well, even no matter how good and intelligent and witty the presenters are, that the name like Ken, for instance, is just, like too repulsive for him, and he's just like, no, I can't do it.
Like, how does he function in normal life then?
Yeah, he said. Well, one of the things because I was like, oh, this story is definitely bullshit. I stopped like taking notes of it like halfway through. He just said like he's a bartender, so he has to ask people for ID a lot of times, and so he's constantly like confronted with people's names and like the sensations of like smelling piss or eyeballs or clock cutting. Like, is a big problem for him. He's like gagging sometimes, like in work, if he has to ask someone for ID.
I don't know. It seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like I was just like non-educated opinion here. Just thinking maybe this is linked to how he feels about these names, and so if he had a positive experience with Mark would smell like milk chocolate, Whereas if he had a negative experience, it smells like a fart or a Guinness fart
or a man trapped in a racetrack.
No, yeah, or like your armpit after a long sweaty day. But have you ever like a name or anything associated to either a smell or a song? I know songs do this for a lot of people, where you hear like a song and you're like, oh, that really reminds me of my like leaving cert, or this really reminds me of this time.
Not really. Like, like obviously, like songs remind you of stuff that happened. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like names and shit. Like, not really.
Yeah, like songs sometimes it reminds me like my friend played "I Got a Feeling" by Black Eyed Peas a million times for his 18th birthday. So that always reminds him of that always song always reminds me of his 18th, and my 18th is remembered by my friend constantly requesting "Gay Bar" be played by the DJ constantly. So if I hear "Gay Bar," I think of him, but I also then go back to my 18th birthday of him constantly requesting "Gay Bar." There's like a pathway there where you'd like other people can be brought back to certain things or places by artwork or like songs. So maybe that part of the brain is responsible for like also like smelling piss off of Kirsty. But like, there's no real like the names here of names of people of like who he might. I know there was a longer list of them, of like people where he like of all the names of what they smell like that he had put up on this article. But like he's not losing out here. Like, how many Elijahs are you going to run into?
In America, maybe a lot.
Yeah, maybe a lot. Cameron, I don't know, is Diaz part of Cameron or is the full name? So if it's like Cameron's are all disco balls slowly spinning. Like, that's the one that gets me the most. It's like it's so specific to like I don't know how many times I've like sat and just watched and like studied disco ball spinning slowly, sparkling. To the point where I'd have a link to a name so much.
You mean you haven't?
No, it's probably odd on my behalf.
Oh, definitely. You're the weird one here, Mark.
Yeah. So, what do you think? You say okay. It clearly is a condition then, and I am wrong.
It is a thing, but I don't like. If he's saying it's that bad,
yeah,
I don't see how he can function in particularly a job where he's dealing with like a lot of different people.
See, yeah, like it's like the guy who said he can't feel pain. There are probably people out there who can't feel pain, and I know that is a condition, and it's quite serious. They have to like have people check to make sure the temperature of water's all right for them. Like, there's lots that goes into it in terms of they wouldn't notice if they bit their tongue, for instance. They have to be very careful, like that. So that is a recognized condition, but it's just I don't think your man was being too honest when he said he had that condition. That's why I punched him. This I think. Sometimes I think people want to be interested and have this unique problem with them, so they make up this weird story and like they sell it to like Lads Bible or wherever I got the story from, about like him not being able, him thinking Kirsty smell like piss.
Like maybe he does, but like he has a weird job for somebody that like is that bothered by it.
Yeah, well, then again, like, what job? If you worked in an office, for instance, or if you worked... Like, there's very few jobs where you're not confronted by a lot of people's names. Especially, like, if it's not hearing the name, it's knowing the name. So, like, if there's a guy called Frank, and Frank smells like popcorn, like, you might not have to hear the name Frank. You just see him and you think it smell popcorn. But then it'd be like sensory deprivation all over, because you walk into an office and there'd be like 30 or 40 people there, so like you'd have surely that would cancel it out because you couldn't focus on all the sound, smells. It'd be just too much for you. Or would it be just like, it just cancels it out and you just, because there's so many people, you don't focus on anybody. You just focus on as a group.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he heard of this and goes, I want to be interesting. So I'm going to say I have this. That's my 2 cents on it. Now, it could be completely true. It just sounds like it is a condition. You looked it up, did minimal research. Now I'm like, maybe. I didn't come on board, but I'm kind of also thinking I've met people who wanted to be interesting, who made up conditions. Maybe your man who I punch actually couldn't feel pain. And I just punched him for no reason. I've often thought about that. It's like, what if he actually hurt him, or I hurt his jaw? If I punched him in the face and he was like, didn't actually realize, got back and had like jaw problems.
He spent the last whatever amount of years looking for
clicking jaws. Yeah, well,
yeah.
He gave me permission, so like it's on him.
It's on him.
But you don't give people permission to punch you in the face. Maybe he thought he wouldn't. And he was like, yeah, he won't punch me.
But no, Mark punched him.
Yep, straight in the face. And Bouncer even seen me. I thought I was going to get fucked out. Because Bouncer, like, obviously seen us chatting, laughing, and says, alright, just having a goof.
He just got punched square in the face. But they're only
broke a pint glass. Hit him that hard. But they're laughing about it now. I'm not going to intervene. Maybe he overheard the whole entire conversation and was like, he definitely can feel pain. I'm going to let this happen.
Yeah, you ain't going to allow this.
I'm going to allow this to happen. It's like that episode of Simpsons. I'm going to allow this. I want to lose my job. Or I want to be fired. But that was part of the show created for legends, by legends, and where we talk about people doing awesome things. It's our Legends of the Week. Which Ken only realised last time I did Legends of the Week that I took Idiots of the Week and just changed some certain words.
Change certain words, just replace idiots with legends.
Yeah, well, and awesome.
No,
We don't get to say awesome enough in Ireland.
That's what people think that you're a cockhole.
Yeah, people judge you. You say awesome.
Fucking notions.
Notions, you have notions. Where do you think you are? California.
Yeah. So right, this I'm going to say they're legends because just for the crack.
Yeah,
but,
it's a low bar, like we said.
Yeah, like everybody knows that customer service related jobs, like you deal with a lot of cockholes.
Yeah, I've heard this off you, and yeah, certain experience in my line of work as well.
Right, so there's a post office in Wales that decided that's it. That's enough dickheads for today. So they've stuck a notice. Right, so the notice reads: if you are grouchy, irritable, or just plain rude, there will be a £10 charge for putting up with you.
So what is this? What's this line of work or business? Post office. So there'll be £10 charge if you're grumpy, irritable, or just rude.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a right to refuse in most public sector places? So if like someone's aggressive towards you, you'd be like, "Fuck off! I'm not serving you."
Yeah, I think the post office probably has a bit of like, they're probably a little bit.
You kind of have to.
That.
Yeah, they probably have to because you can't deny people to send letters or something like that.
Yeah, or you're fucking dull.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, like it's kind of divided opinion. Like some people are saying, like, you know, online they're saying, so if I'm just feeling a little bit like fucking grouchy and I need to send a parcel, I'm going to get charged a tenner. Like that's bullshit.
Well, I think you can feel like annoyed. Like we've probably all went into places where we're not in the right headspace. Maybe you're just annoyed about something at work, and you have to go to shops to get something. There's one thing about looking kind of like you're annoyed about something and just being polite to the people around you, and you walking into stop and being a cunt to someone. Like, I don't know. Like, I agree with like everyone can control how you behave to another person. Like, people going, oh, well, maybe they had a bad day. Well, who cares? We've all had bad days. We haven't taken it out on people, or if we have, you probably should then afterwards be like, here, I was just being a bit of a diva.
Yeah, like there was another person who worked in a different post office that commented on this and said that there in the post office that they worked in, there was a problem with customers used to come in on the phone. And like, obviously, because you're in the post office, you have to ask certain questions about, like, you know, where's this fucking thing going, or fill in this form, or sign this, or whatever. So they stuck up a sign. They were like, if you're on the phone, like, we're not going to interrupt you, so we'll serve you when your conversation is done. And she said, like, people used to get so annoyed because they'd walk up on the phone and you just stand there and just point at the sign and then just be like, whatever. Like,
but like, I kind of think if person's on the phone, like, there's a certain amount of body language you can read off a person and be like, that person wants to have this conversation, so I'm going to give them a minute and I'm going to let them finish their call and then I'll answer them. Or that person's, okay, they look like they want to multitask here. I'll push them the paper, say sign here, here, and here, put your date here, this what I need, and then hand them a pen. And if they can multitask, they can multitask.
One thing that really, really pisses me off is when people come up to, like, pay for shit and they're on the phone.
Oh, really?
That really fucking annoys me. Like, if you want to continue your conversation, you go to self-scan.
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, yeah. Does
Like,
it annoy
don't
you if someone comes up with, like, 4 things, but they go to a till?
Not really.
Alright, because I was in the shops the other day, and I had basically a 4-pack of Coke Zero, and I was going into the butcher's to get other things. And I was like, I don't want to go to a till for just 4 cans of Coke. And I was like, I'll go to the self-service. So, like, because there was, like, queues, I was like, if there was an empty one there, I probably would walk past the empty one and just go to the self-service. Because I don't want to waste, like, don't want to take up time of someone who have a shopping load of go, like.
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me as much. Like, but it really fucking bothers me when somebody is on the phone. Like, it really pisses me off.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever been on the phone in shops. I've walked into shops while on the phone, being like asking, like, I probably was contacting someone, seeing what was needed that I need to buy. Like, do we need this?
Like going around the shop on the phone is fine. It's just when you're going up to pay for something and you're like on the fucking phone and you're like that just fucking annoys me. Like, in that situation, go to a fucking self-scan.
So would you have, like, a list in your ideal store of charges or taxes that you get? So if you walk up to the till on your phone, it's like €3. If
I wouldn't, like, charge people extra. Like, if it was like my business and I was running it, I would just be like, fuck you.
So, like, no talking on phone. Make conversation, but keep no conversation can go over 2 minutes.
I'd just be like, fuck off, like.
No eye contact. Don't ask me about my day. It's the same as always.
Because, like, it's stuff that people only do in, like, certain places. Like,
yeah,
people wouldn't, you know, like, people wouldn't go down to pay the doctor's receptionist while talking on the phone.
Yeah, no, they probably wouldn't. Yeah, so they used to think it's like a kind of a lack of respect.
Yeah, like, people wouldn't go to, like, what else? They wouldn't fucking go to, I don't know, I can't even think of anything else at the minute. But, like, you know, they wouldn't do certain things. Like, they just think that it's okay because it's perceived as a low-paying job.
Yeah, they think it, like, in other, like, you're part of the public sector, it's your job to do, serve me, almost kind of a situation, whereas no, you're in public. You should have respect for people who are doing these jobs of which you're trying to get food or your dole. So fuck you. Obey by
basically,
these common, like, basic manners, or fuck off kind of thing.
yeah.
Well, I think there is a perception like out there, whereas if you complain, you get more, or if you're narky, you get more. Whereas if you're just like sound and don't do anything, you'll just get basic treatment. Which I like. Sometimes I kind of feel like maybe with dicks you should be like, no, we're not going to be, or we're going to charge you more for this, and then when you ask, we're going to tell you it's because you're a cunt.
That's literally going to depend on who you're dealing with.
Yeah. I know, like, obviously you couldn't just justify prices for most businesses. But yeah, the only time where I remember I went into a Nando's before and your man gave us all free drinks. We used to go in, like, quite regularly, and he was like, oh, I've seen you in here quite a bit, so, like, and you're always quite nice, and he just gave us a load of glasses, and he says, like, you can have free drinks. So it was, like,
Yeah,
it was quite random.
like
I thought,
stuff
that's
like
pretty nice.
stuff like that is like okay. Like I don't think, like, I can give an example. I know a situation where a guy, so a girl on tills asked somebody for ID to buy a drink. They didn't have it. They complained to a manager, and they made a big scene. So he gave them a load of drink for free.
Yeah.
Without asking for their ID. Like,
See,
that's not
that's
how that
doing bad
situation's supposed
behavior.
to work.
Yeah, I wonder if instead of, like, charging extra, if they just rewarded good behavior, like gave discounts for people who are nice to them, and then also charge people who are not nice to them more, and then kind of balance it out. Be like have like a almost like a, you know, like if you collect coffee, you get a stamp, so you have a positive stamp book. So if you're nice to our staff, you'll get a positive stamp, and at the end you get like 10% off, or you get free, like, postal stamps, or you get like a small little thank you for not being a cunt or having basic manners. So it's kind of carrot and stick.
But like at the same time, you shouldn't have to reward like fucking basic manners.
You shouldn't, but it's not. But it is nice when someone goes out of their way because you're nice to them. They give you more. Like, there's certain places I go into, and just because I make conversation to people, they give me like they maybe give me discounts off stuff. And I know, like, there's another guy who we know from training who's got free coffees just by basically going in, talking to your man, kind of building up a rapport with the guy. And being like, here, you can have a free coffee, and got lenses of games off him. And it's like, when he's in there, when he's making the coffee, he's just chatting away, and he gets like, and he says he does this all the time, where this is a part of his personality. We went into a random coffee shop with him before, and like that, once again, he was like, the coffee shop knew all his business, and they were like, oh, how's
Fucking out with who it was.
how's your girlfriend? I'll take that part out. And then he was just like, yeah, blah, 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 we're doing this, and yeah, so he builds up a rapport, and because the people who are working there like him, and he's nice to the people there, he gets free stuff. And so I think certain businesses do it. So maybe like post offices and supermarkets could do something similar, like even like your like loyalty card things. Like, if a person is a cunt, it can have like when they scan it, you take off points off them so they don't get their discounts. Like, you can subtract, and so like someone scans and they're being a cunt, you go boom, and it's like, if they look up like on their app and see why they've lost points, it was like bad experience, or like you have been a cunt points, so you get like 30 taken off you.
Cunt points.
Yeah, you probably get like more of a nicer name for it. Like you like basically a grumpy tax. This is like grumpy deduction or a rude deduction. So if you're grumpy or rude to like a till worker, they just go, taking 30 off him, taking 100 off him. She's getting 40 deducted because I don't like her hair. And then like people who they like, they're like, well, I should give you 10 points, but I'm actually gonna give you his 30. So now you have 40. So you get whatever that is off the chicken you just bought.
Yeah, like I just think like there's no. It really fucking annoys me.
Yeah, I do think you can definitely incentivize, and you probably shouldn't have to, but I think it'd be nice if nice people got rewarded more times than and it wasn't the case of kick up a fuss because that's how you get what you want. Because too many times I think it is the case of where grumpy people or narky people or people who complain, they're the ones that get that bit more because you're just kind of like. You're just trying to like just get them out of your head. It's easier to give them something and get rid of them than like have to deal with them constantly and them going on like give me a bad review or them fucking wanting to talk to your manager and the manager like I don't want to talk to you. I don't have to deal with this. Just give them 10%. Like your man who didn't ask for ID and gave him a load of free drinks. He just didn't want to deal with that situation. He's like, I don't care. What the rules of the law are, just get rid of them. Like, do you want to deal with these fucking kids?
Like the way that I deal with it is the grumpier and more rude you are, the less helpful I'm going to be.
Yeah. So so you kind of reward people who are nice to you, and you like disincentivize rudeness.
Yeah, and like the people that I work with, like they know, like they're like in certain situations where certain things happen that they need a supervisor or a manager, like they know, oh, Ken's here today, I'll get him to deal with this.
Can Ken Riley please come to check out for
like, or they'll be like, oh, Ken's here, but he's going to be like, this person's been nice, so he's going to be like a little bit rude to this person. I won't get him.
Can Owen come to check out for, please? Ken, no need. Yes, they have like kind of good cop, bad cop kind of thing. It's like,
yeah, like they know this guy's been a dickhead, and like
before the
Ken's
stage where the people who come to the store actually know this, and he's like, I'll get Ken, and he's like, okay.
There is two customers that come in that are like repeat troublemakers that won't do anything if they know, like after like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, there's only like one person there, like kind of running the place.
Yeah.
If they come in and they walk around and they see me, they just like go home again.
Oh yeah, but if you're not there, they're like, sometimes I think people come looking for it, and it's not like the highlight of their day, but they know, oh, this person, I'm going to be able to get into an argument with this person almost, and they look forward to being a cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I just tell people to fuck off.
Yeah. Well, I've been very close, and I've actually told my few people I work with, I was like, just fucking starting them. if someone is rude to you, starting them. Don't take it. Don't take it off anybody. Like,
start.
Yeah, I've got into like where I've head up against another person's head, going, I will beat you with this fucking thing that's in my hand if you don't stop.
Mark holding a hose.
Yeah, I will wrap this right here. Yeah, it's just like, people will be cunts here, and then we're like, no, well, who's going to give out to me? Like, what have I done wrong? Someone comes up and is aggressive to me, I'm going to be aggressive back to them. But I guess in shops you have to be a bit more civil.
Well, you're supposed to be.
You're meant to be. There's a lot more cameras around.
Yeah. There's ways around that too.
Yeah, yeah. We'll leave it there. We're ways around that. We went a little bit over time, but yeah, there's a bit of advice. I think our listeners will agree with us. And that post office, that's the Legend of the Week. We'll give them the title. I think we can show out the title Legend of the Week. I would like to see like a reward for being good, though. But Ken says that's typically meant to be good. It's nice to get something for being nice. Sometimes you should reward good behaviour. That's all I'm saying.
You start a petition.
Yeah, get stars. Yeah, there you go.
Customer star rating.
Because you get a star, young lady. So yeah, we'll leave it there. If you have any thoughts on whether there should be a grumpy tax, you can get in contact with us on our socials. We'll be back next week.
Good luck.
No.